one of the most controversial things we've talked about combat in our game is that we are experimenting with a more randomized presentation of the spells and skills that you can use during combat, much like you would see in a card game, where instead of having constant access to all these spells and skills, we're trying to introduce a little bit more chaos, which again I'm a big fan of, into those combat scenarios, which is we feel more indicative of what being in combat was really like, where you don't in the heat of combat, you don't necessarily remember everything perfectly.
Right.
You're just trying to survive. And so you're just trying to do the things that you practiced and learned. But there's the Sun Tzu Art of War quote, which is "No plan survives contact with the enemy."
Right.
And so we really try and capture that, and that's the beauty of kind of the randomized card dealing kind of mechanics, where you may know fireball and heal and a spin, whirling sword attack. But they may not. But the way they present themselves is going to be random during combat, and we think that it's going to reduce the sort of very predictable. Okay, when I go into combat, I hit 1, then 3, then 5, then 2. A lot of combat with shortcut bars and skills has become you just memorize a sequence, and you just repeat that sequence, or you memorize like 3 or 4 sequences. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to offset that randomness with your ability to build decks or custom lists of spells, where you can quote stack the deck, and you can say, well, I really want Fireball to appear a lot, so I'm going to learn more than one Fireball. So I'm going to learn that spell up to 5 times, and I'm going to build a deck that has all 5 of the Fireballs in it. So I'm increasing the chance that Fireball is going to show up during combat.
Okay.
And that it is very different. We've been accused of doing different for different sake. We do, but we really do feel like it makes it a little more exciting. It makes it a little more unpredictable, and I think especially and it also it introduces the concept of a second chance in combat, where you may think all hope is lost, and then that one powerful spell that you need shows up. And so we think that in multiplayer that's going to be especially exciting in PvP, where a lot of PvP in most games devolves into I'm just going to dominate. Like one player will get the upper hand, and then they will just dominate, and there's no hope that you'll ever come back. Mm-hmm. Whereas in a system where things are a little bit more randomized, there's always that chance that you may come back from what seems like defeat. And so we think it makes it a little more exciting, but it is very different, and it will take a lot of used to, and we are going into it with eyes wide open. If it's not fun and it's horrible and everyone hates it, we could retreat. We could retreat to a more traditional thing, but I'm holding out hope that it works out and people have fun with it.
Well, having played UO for years, I don't think this would become boring if you're never quite sure of what the outcome is going to be. That's exciting to me.
Good. That's what we hope. We hope it's more exciting than